Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is your host, KD at KDRF Sports TV. Boy, do I have somebody for you who has a very interesting story, and I can't wait for you all to hear, and I can't wait to hear it all myself. Um, Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. But now, you might not be old enough to know who this gentleman is, but there are some things I just found out here recently.
And they measured my feet, my legs, my arms, and made my custom made track shoes, track suit, everything. So I was running with them. Then I had Adidas, and then Nike came around, and they flew me up to the University of Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to the Nike headquarters
In Oregon.
and in Oregon, and they just gave me like 3 gigantic bags full of shoes. And so when I came home, Nike said, hey, we're going to put you on our free list. So what I started doing is I would get all the young kids, the 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, I would get their size, order shoes from Nike. I would get 200 pairs of shoes a week. And I'd pass them out to all the kids in high school.
Dang. And these regular tennis shoes.
Yeah, so these are all the ones that Nike showed me. I could order any one on their catalog. So I would just order different shoes in different sizes. And that was my way of passing out to the high school, because there was a lot of kids that didn't have shoes,
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a lot, and then when I went to different places like Notre Dame and other schools, I would get their cleats and bring them back for our football players.
I know they were grateful because like right back then it wasn't where every school is sponsored by some shoe company, whether it's Under Armour, Nike, Adidas.
No,
It was nothing like that.
yeah, no, it's nothing like it was today.
Dang.
But what I would do is, because I ran track, they would fly me out to their area, run a track race in their area, and then I had to go visit school afterward. So those were unofficial visits.
Correct.
So I went to about 50 visits in high school.
Nobody was doing that then, back then.
No.
And nobody was nobody was doing that. And was Phil Knight still the owner at that time?
Yes, he was the owner at that time.
So that okay. So in high school, did you break your ankle or something like that?
So what happened was, I ran too many races, too many trials all at once, and I tore my hamstring.
Oh wow. That's something right there. That's just time.
Right.
You know, it ain't no well, you get surgery and then no, that's time.
Yeah. So that was a whole year being out, and I never really gained my full speed. Now I can run a 4.4, but I was running 4.1 at the time.
What?
So
you were running 4.1s?
I was running 4.1 and 4.0.
That's a big difference.
Yard dash.
That's a big difference. I mean, 4.4 is fast, but four
Right.
ones and four flats. That's
Yeah.
like Dion. That's faster, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I was the fastest in the nation. I remember going to LSU for a track meet, and it was all the top runners in the nation. And we're running the 200, and everybody's looking at me, and the guy from Texas says, I'm 200-meter state champion in Texas. And then one guy said, I'm the 200-meter state champion from Nebraska. One guy said, well, I'm 200-meter state champion from Florida. And they looked at me and they said, who are you? I said, I'm the national state champion. I beat them by about 25 yards.
And they didn't ask that question anymore, did they?
And they didn't ask that question anymore.
Because I know when you came to a track meet, then it was like, oh Lord, he showed up. He showed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they thought you were just a nobody. Because maybe that was your first time going to the LSU meet.
Right. And so then what happened was NBC heard about me, and they set up a track meet in my home area with Carl Lewis, Herschel Walker, and all the top athletes. Now, here I am, a junior, and I'm running against guys that have been in the Olympics. And so I end up taking, I think, second in the 100 and third in the 200 because what is his name? Herschel Walker leave me out at the end.
But now, when you say a junior, you talking about in high school?
A junior in high school, and these guys,
they grown. They grown.
They're grown, right? The NBC set up a whole national track meet just for me to run against the fastest athletes.
But how big were you?
I was 5'11", about 190 pounds.
Oh, you weren't small.
So I was big.
Yeah, you weren't small.
No, and I had gigantic thighs.
I saw the picture from Oregon, so I saw that, but
yeah,
you were not small.
Well, well, you got to understand, my brother was going to San Jose State, and so every summer I worked out with him at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
So they started introducing me to squat and running and bench press and just getting really strong. So when I came back to high school, they're like,
who is this?
Yeah.
Hey, let me check your ID. Do you go here?
Right.
Dang. That's something serious. That's something serious. And so you had to sit out that was your senior year, right?
My senior year. But let me tell you the story. So a friend of mine named Henry Andrade, who's running track at SMU, he said, hey, Kev, man, they want you something serious at SMU. And I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. So I flew in, and they said, Kevin, just ask for whatever you want. So I told the coach, I want a Target Porsche. I want $100,000.
I got a question. Was that before or during Eric Dickerson and what's his name? James. Was that during that time?
No, Eric Dickerson was there and Craig James.
That's who I'm talking about, Craig James.
Yeah. And so when I tell you Eric Dickerson took a pay cut the first year in the pros, that's how much money these brothers was making.
That's why they got suspended. Well, they didn't get suspended.
Right,
They called it the death penalty or something.
right, right. So what happened was the coach said, we're gonna have the dealer's wife drive the car around for a week. Now it's a used car, so we're gonna sell it to you for $100. And you just come up, we're gonna get you a job and just learn play, and we're about to get you $100,000. And then they took me to go meet my sugar daddy, is some oil millionaire, and he's gonna fly me back home and fly my family in. And so when I left, they put a couple of thousand in my pocket, and so I get home, and the NCA lawyer called me up. He said, Kev, how do you like SMU? I said, I'm going. He said, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but we're gonna take down that whole program.
And they did.
So guess what I do?
You was like, okay.
So I called the coach. I said, man, you better get out of there. They taking down that whole program. So he left to go to be head coach of Indianapolis Colts.
So you straight up were going to SMU, but it wasn't necessarily about the money, but you knew they were high powered and they running that ball.
Yeah, right. They were running that bone, and I was like, oh yeah, this is me. This is all me right here. And you know, like I said, single mother, 6 kids,
$100,000, man.
100, man. I was like, you know, as soon as they put that couple of thousand in my pocket, I was like, "Ooh, you know, I'm going."
Then okay, so I read about. So after that, that was a dunner. That was over with.
Yeah.
So I read about two choices: Washington, Oregon. But if I'm saying this right, the coach at Washington didn't want you to run track.
No, he didn't want me to run track, but he said if you want to run, you can. But what he did was he moved down. He rented a house for 2 months, and so every day he recruited me. I mean, he would feed me and my friends every day. And so when I went to bed that night, I was wearing a UW hat, and I was going to UW. And then all of a sudden, so at night, I got UCLA's coach calling me up, Oregon coach calling me up, and then my good friend Steve Brown, who went to the University of Oregon, his father called me up, and he was a lawyer in town. So, you know, they promised me everything in the world. And so now when I get up in the morning, I got Washington's coach inside my house, and I got Oregon's coach inside my house.
Yeah, I saw something like that. I wake up at 6:45 in the morning, and the coach is already
already there. And so Oregon's coach pulls me inside and says, "Hey, I got Nike on the phone, and you need to go to University of Oregon." That's all I can say about that.
Oh, I understand. I mean, I don't think Washington got what Oregon has.
No, but see, I was going to sign with Adidas when I went
Whoa.
to the University of Washington.
Correct.
And so Adidas was thinking about suing Nike at the time because I switched schools.
Because you decided not to go to Washington and go to Oregon?
To Washington.
Well, how they gonna how can they, on what bound, how can they do that?
Because, like I said, when you're the number one football and track athlete, it's all about sales and different things. So if I was wearing Adidas, then their stock and their money going up.
Mm-hmm. But in high school, you were wearing both those. You were wearing in track shoes. You were wearing Adidas, Mizuno, Nike, whoever.
So what I did was I would call up and I said, "Hey, which track that you guys gonna be at?" And so whatever track you said we're gonna be at, that's what shoes I wore.
Really? Oh, you was running straight game.
Man, I was the original game player.
Dang. Straight game. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
Like you said, mother, 6 kids, you got to get them ends. I ain't mad at you.
And that's what it was all about.
So you get to Oregon, and then what ends up happening there?
So I get up to Oregon, and I'm going through their treatment.
Because your hamstring is still kind of
still messed up, but I still messed up. But I'm going through their therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up the second day of practice. I ran an out route and pulled again. And so I was like, okay, I'm out for the year. What they did was they sent me up to the experimental laser up in Washington. This doctor was experimenting on horses, on muscles, and he used this light laser to heal my hamstring. And so I did 3 months therapy up there. And it got to where it was healed to the point where I could actually run. And that's when I, came in my second year. But my second year, I fell back for the first couple of weeks. But when we played Cal, and what is his name? The linebacker who used to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
he came through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I put him on his butt, and they said, "Oh, you know how to block?" I said, "Man, if I didn't block some other running back, they would kill me." So they ended up making me a fullback because that's all they recruited was running back. So I was able to do some running, but not a lot. I stayed at fullback. And that's what I did my 4 years at Oregon.
Yeah, but during that time in NFL, almost every team used a fullback.
Right. And so Green Bay, that's when Green Bay called me up. I didn't get drafted, and Green Bay called me up. And so I went up there and I said, Kevin, let me go back and be a tailback. So I really trained hard that summer, and I got into camp, and I was there with Brent Fullwood, Kenny Davis, and so I did better than them. Every scrimmage, games, and the coach said, "Kev, I can't have 1.5 million sitting the bench when I'm only paying you 75,000." So I had to sit the bench.
Dang. And here it is. It was a money thing.
It was a money thing. So here you think best players
play.
The best players are out there playing. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones that making the most money that playing. That's why when people get hurt and that other person comes in, you're like, man, he's really good. He was always really good, but he wasn't making enough to beat out the starting running back.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
And that's where it works for all the players.
Even now.
I always say, the best players in the NFL are the ones sitting at home watching. It's all those guys that train extra hard years to get in the NFL, but because they didn't go to the top-notch school, because they didn't have all the publicity behind them, they never played.
So, in hindsight, which one do you think you should have done? Football, track?
I should have stuck with just football and then relax the rest of the year. You know, rest my legs.
Mm-hmm.
So
With the track coach, he wouldn't have been liking that.
The track, no, he didn't like it, and that's what he was. And so why I had to run track my senior year, because he was my economics teacher, and he told me he told me I wouldn't graduate
if you didn't run
track.
Oh man,
right?
Ain't that some?
Yeah,
because he knew what you running. Oh, y'all good.
Yeah.
And then that makes him look extra good. Oh yeah, I did that. He's that way because of me.
Right.
So to end this, what do you do now outside of what we talked about earlier?
Well, I did law enforcement for a couple of years. I still do security for the 49ers and Stanford University. I'm semi-retired, but I became a manager at International Paper for 17 years. So that's what I did now.
I tell you what, man. I don't know how you do it because I've smelled them paper mills, man. They don't smell too good.
well, we didn't. I wasn't at a paper mill.
Oh, okay.
I was at a corrugated box plant.
Okay, got you. Because I've been around paper mills before. It ain't too.
No, I've been around paper mills too. After they make the paper, then we would make them in the box.
Okay, got you. And I've been California several times, but I haven't been to Sacramento, but I've been to like San Francisco. And man, when you drive, I don't remember what highway that is, but when you're driving down there, man, those cows, you can smell them 10 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad smell. But look,
I know.
But Kevin, there's again your last words as far as telling the audience about perseverance.
You know what? Perseverance is all about training hard. I learned very early age to train hard, to persevere. I would run against my small dogs in the morning just so I can stay up on speed. When I got to college, I learned how to study. I learned how to write, learned how to speak. I was able to graduate with a BA degree. And because I didn't take the classes that they told me to take, I made sure I got my degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're in sports, man, work hard, lean into everything. Don't lean back, lean into everything.
Mm-hmm. Take those classes, not them sports classes. Take the real classes so you have something to fall back on.
Right. When that head coach found out I was graduating, he said, "You graduating?" I said, "Yeah, because I didn't take none of your class."
Smart man he is, y'all. Well, this is the first of many. We're going to talk again, Kevin. And
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to pick your brain and let everybody know, what you've gone through and how you still made it.
Hey, thank you, Kevin, for everything, and I appreciate it.
My problem, my brother.
And just always remember to network.
That's right.
Always remember to network. We're all out here for you. It's just somebody needs to introduce us.
That's right. And I appreciate it. I'll be calling you soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, Kevin. Thank you.